the most realistic steering system available on the market, look no further than Sim Steering from Leo Bodnar. Designed and hand-built at the home of British Motorsport's Silverstone circuit, it's extensively used by professional driver training centres and race teams including Formula 1 since 2010. The high precision and completely linear response coupled with high strength provides the ultimate in realistic steering force feedback. Visit simsteering.com.
What is so important about driving faster than anyone else?
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Good afternoon, iRacers. Welcome to Apex Racing TV. Alex Simpson, Brenton O'Brien in the comms box for this pre-season introductory race to the PitTalk Asia's GT Championship. Welcome, Brenton. How you doing, buddy?
Mate, excited for this season. Great introduction to the series here at Laguna Seca. The PitTalk Asia.com GT Simulator Championship. Great to have him on board for this series. Some familiar faces that we knew from last season, the season before. No doubt after a good break they'll be back bigger and faster than ever. Different rules, of course, so I'll let you introduce all those, but good exciting changes to the series.
Yeah, just having a look at it now, we've obviously got multi-class racing out there now. We've got the GT1 class in the Corvette C6R, and then we have the GT3 class pretty much as last season with the BMW Z4, the McLaren MP4, 12C, and the rough track car. We also have the Ford GT, which hasn't had the proposed update to make it into GT3 spec yet, so I'm sure that will happen later on in the season, and we'll see those Ford GTs fighting up amongst around the McLarens and the Z4s alike. As before, sorry, Brendan, sorry, you could carry on.
The biggest change is that, the GT cars remain, but the big change, I think, is just the even balance now of the roughs, the McLarens and the BMWs. Let's face it, last season was a bit of a BMW charity event. It was just BMWs. If you didn't have a BMW, you weren't going to win anything, but already there's some car changes within the drivers, in particular the two drivers of last season, Marcus and Miko, who came first and second in the series last year. Both have changed cars and surprisingly have gone in different directions, so that's going to be worth watching out for as well.
Yeah, I definitely think the balance of performance much better this season. No need for the sort of administrators of the league to get hold of this and try and even it out at all. So it's going to be great. Just to confirm the other rules so that any newcomers watching this series might be interested in taking part. An open setup series, so guys will have to get their testing done through the week, get their setups worked on. We know some of the crazy fast guys might just do it in the morning, but for the most part, the mere mortals of us out there will be testing during the week. Standing start format as well. We have
Well,
we have one race reset as well. So anyone who gets damaged, those that don't know the iRacing.com software very well, every time you damage your car, you get the option to get a fast repair, which means as soon as you drive in the pits, the car's instantly repaired. Each driver gets one of those. Again, we've got incentive for clean driving out there, plus 5 points on 0 incidents, 4 points for 1 incident, 2 points for 3. We have drop races into effect. We also have, of course, we have the class championships for the drivers. We have the team and nationality or national championships as well. So the teams will be competing well. Bit more of a clarification onto who scores what points. So the top 3 finishers in the team championship from the GT class and top 1 from the GT1 class will score the points. So those that want to win the championship definitely going to have to field both classes of car out there this season.
Yeah, and throughout the last series 4, I think, of this, it started off pretty scrappy, but the driving standard has just gone through the roof. There's some good, solid drivers out there. Some have got actually professional careers outside of iRacing, actually do driving through life. So it's a high standard now. So if anyone is out there who's interested in joining the series, I can highly recommend it. Like every other race, there's a few dust-ups now and then. That just adds to the drama. But overall, it's a fantastic series. So very well run by our host Mark Langan, to have the sponsors on board, as we said, PitTalkAsia.com. The series is just going from strength to strength.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really spoke too much about it. There's going to be an official announcement shortly. We can't really release too much on this pre-introductory race, I'm afraid. But let's just say, if you're in the championship now, you're going to love what's coming. If you're not in it and you're watching this, well, get yourself signed up. There's great things to come.
Well, I can't wait to hear from it myself. I know you've kept me in the quiet here, AC, so I'll have a chat later on, hopefully. But it sounds exciting. If you're excited, considering the things that you do in your professional Formula 1 stuff with the iRacing, well, it must be exciting. So, yeah, for all those who are interested in getting involved with the series, jump on board. It's a great series. It'd be a shame for you to miss out.
Well, it's a new season, and in typical Apex Racing TV fashion, I've picked up on our first little gremlin with software error. So we're just showing the what was the proposed Sim Racers Asia club logo for the drivers. So apologies for that. We'll get that reverted back to the traditional logo for the next race. Not really sure how that one crept in there, but alas, sorry about that.
It's okay. We've got 6 minutes to go in first qualifying for the season. As we said, though, this is an unofficial race. It doesn't count towards points for the season. It's more of a introductory race. But anyway, Marcus Lenderman on provisional pole with a 1:19.918. That is top 20 world records class. Time. Extremely good time. Dongwu Gang in the BMW, the Martini BMW 120.4. Miko Nasi 120.4 as well. There's just the 1/1000th of a second between second and third. Miko showed a bit more pace than that in practice, so we've got 5 minutes to go now. We've got 31 times in at the moment, so a strong field, plenty of Aussies, like to see that. We've got just 3 Corvettes. I'd like to see their times get up there too. No doubt they'll be very competitive.
Yep, sorry for jumping out of channel there for just a second. Not quite sure why there. Got finger failure, I think that was, so apologies for that. Just jumped out of the communication box there. What? Yeah, just want to give just quickly run through the broadcast sponsors as well as the Series 1. So big shout out to GT Omega Racing. They support Apex Racing TV and have done for quite some time. So thank you to those guys. Without them, some of our broadcasts wouldn't happen, as well as leobodner.com. Let's not forget the series sponsors as well, as touched on, Sim Racers Asia and PitTalkAsia.com. If you haven't already followed us and subscribed to us on all the social media, please head over to @Apex Racing TV for Twitter, and on Facebook we are Apex Racing TV as well. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favour, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a great deal. Thanks a lot. We've 4 minutes to go qualifying. How's it panning out so far, Brendan?
Yeah, nothing's changed at the top. But the interesting in here is Inho Yuan's back in the series, which is fantastic. He was in the McLaren as well. He drove that so well 2 seasons ago with Dongwu Gang, if you can remember. 2 seasons ago, they just dominated, the two of them. Last year there was that change with Marcus Lenderman and Mikko Nasi, so to have Inho Yuan back in the series, and hopefully he'll maintain, he's in the McLaren as well, hopefully he'll maintain his enthusiasm in the series. You know, this could be a real tightly run series throughout. My interesting thing's going to be is, do the drivers, I don't know about Laguna Seca, does it favour the BMW, does it favour the rough? Are the drivers going to swap horses for courses? So next week, for example, the rough might be favoured, so just interested to see whether the drivers are thinking of changing that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the ruling for that, actually. I don't know if the guys are allowed to swap or not, so that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. So I don't see anything.
I had a look and I didn't see anything at all about saying no. I thought, to be honest with you, I thought that was the plan, but I didn't see anything, so we'll have to get Mark up here for a chat one day at the end of the race, just to introduce ourselves to him. He races hard and he does a great job as our host and organiser and everything, but good to have a chat with him as well.
Right, let's just have a quick look, see if we can catch some other drivers on there. Dongwu Gang, he's in the Z4 again.
Yeah, a couple of new drivers. Kiju Sung in the Car 11 Rough for Korea. Not a name that rang a bell last year. Alex Chung again in the BMW. Scotty Goodman, I think he did a couple of races. Redback teammate of Bernie Wimmers in the BMW. Dua Lamba in the Car 43 Rough. Not sure. Again, I think that's new, so interesting skin. It's a welcome to all those. You know, you're in that green McLaren. That skin looks fantastic. Just yep, there's Mark Lang. He's a bit thirsty. He wants to get up the front a bit more, so he's in the Corvette. So that's fantastic to see as well. So
yeah, how many Corvette runners have we got out there?
3.
This was, yeah, tricky car to handle. A little bit more of a challenge. They're going to have to fight their way through this traffic, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out, actually.
Yeah, but the Corvette would really, top of cart needs to stretch its legs, doesn't it? So I'm not sure how it's going to go on this track. Some corners are quite tight, but yeah, I think also getting the setups is going to be harder for them than it is for the more used cars like the McLaren and the Rough, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. But just a minute to go in qualifying. Things have tightened up a little bit in the top 6 now. Tobias Cherney's moved into the top 6 with a 129.78. Just Marcus Wong in 7th is the first of our Corvettes at the 21.0, so good to have more Corvettes in here, but like I said, this is the introduction race, and no doubt the series will get stronger.
Yeah, just having a very quick look at the provisional top, well, I say top 5. We'll scroll quickly through the grid order. So some familiar faces there, a couple of new guys as well that we haven't seen, so great to see. Again, the series just bringing in new drivers from that part of the world.
Well, qualifying now has come to an end, so all those cars who were on their last lap this time will count. Inho Yuan is one of those. He just got over the start-finish line before the time ran out, so this lap that he's on will count. At the moment, position 5 in the car 30.
Yeah, let's just keep an eye. It looks as though all the top 4 are actually stationary as well, so let's just see if Inho can move himself up a place.
Well, it's not going to need much of an improvement to go up a couple of spots here. 129.37. He's only 5 100ths of going up a spot, so it's just good to see Dongwu Gang and Inho Yuan back into it as well. Oh, he's made a mistake there at the carousel.
Looks like Tobias is still on a lap. Looks like he's crossed the start-finish line. Don't know if he improved. No, he didn't.
Yeah, Tobias, another one's gone from the BMW last season into the McLaren. So, yeah, there's a few who've made the change.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing a Martini livery for him, not his Dayco Racing one, which I'm quite surprised of. I'll tell you what we'll do just before the start of this race. Let's just make sure we've refreshed the paint scheme, so everybody will disappear white for a moment. No, it's come back exactly the same. So yeah.
Tobias got the same skin. Yeah, that is surprising. Maybe there could be some scandal. Maybe Tobias has been dumped by Dayco.
No, he's still sporting them in the V8s earlier on today, so I guess it's a case of he forgot to upload it. I'm sure his team manager will give him a kick later on. Right, Brennan, guys, just starting to take to the grid. Do you want to just take us through the final grid positions?
I'll run through it quickly. Marcus Lederman pole for this non-official race, 19.918. That's a great time. That's half a second up on second place. Dongwu Gang in BMW. Miko Nasi third. Fani Lajri, fantastic. He's going to have a smile on his face this season. He stuck by the McLaren last season, even though it was disadvantaged. And now that it's back up to where it should be, he's going to be really happy. So it's great to have him fourth. Inho Yun fifth with a 937. Tobias with a 978. Marcus, the first of our Corvettes. Warren Pickering, good to have him in the series. Charles Sierra, third place, I believe, last season, 21.128. Kevin Huang, Yun Min Choi, Aaron Pierce, Jose Amelda, who ran hard in the first bit last season. So, all the way down to 35th, Jordan Kingham, but I'm not sure he qualified. Our lowest qualifier was 31st in Vincent Young.
Yeah, just the final few drivers taken to the grid now, just while we scroll through. See, a few guys not setting any times there, so we'll keep an eye out and see they turn up. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting race, Brendan. Who's your pick for this one?
I'm going a bit out of left field here. I'm gonna go for Dongwu to win. I know he's second on the grid, but I'm just excited about being in the BMW and being competitive up the front again. Don't ride out Inho as well.
Yeah, just think any of actually looking at those times, any of the top five with a little bit of slipstream we get from these cars could have a chance depending on how it all goes. We just sat on board with Tobias in his McLaren getting ready for this one. Great to see a good split of cars on that start line as well. Here we go. Lights are on. We are racing here at Laguna.
Dongwu straight to the lead around the outside. Let's see if we can get him 20. He's got his clear already. Great start. Just Marcus looked like he bogged down. All damage at the back. I can hear crashing in my headset. Miko around the outside of Marcus as well. Just Marcus has tucked it in, very aggressive there. Haven't seen the altercation at the back yet, but very confident there's been a crash. He's been taken out there unfortunately as well, but he'll get back into it. It's a non-official race. This is exactly why we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That gives the guys just a little bit of time just to get to understand, the different net codes out there and things like that. Obviously, it's not the same as real racing. You have to be aware that there's a little bit of extra gap you need to leave for some people. And who's that off up wide there? Going into the corkscrew.
Brett Wilson, I think, in the red back BMW, just a bit wide.
Oh, got somebody going in very deep into the chicanes, caused an absolute nightmare into the corkscrew. So 3-4 cars off. Paijo unfortunately caught up into that. But you know what? He doesn't get any luck whatsoever.
No, very luckless last season. But if you're going to have no luck, you might as well do it in this race. You'd rather here than this time next week. Into turn one again. Marcus very aggressive into Dongwu. He's got the speed, and Miko's making most of this. Three are very racy up the front. Be interested to see if they do any paint swapping here.
Yeah, quite a lot of rubbing going on out there. You can just see it and hear it kissing bumper to bumper at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you who's had a great start. It's Charles Sierra. He's gone from 9th on the grid to 4th. So he's had a fantastic start through all the carnage in the early laps. And Farney just seems to have been a bit of a loser there. Not really a loser, Farney, but you've gone from 4th to 9th, so he's hurt a bit. Just trying to find, you know, obviously with issues. Turn 3, Brett Wilson's gone right as well. Just trying to hunt down the first of our Corvettes.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to
it's just unusual to see Kokoro also in the Ford GT. We've got Marcus Wong in the Corvette in the pits, Mark Lang in the Corvette in the pits. And Bernie Wimmers just coming out, actually makes commentator, still a commentator I guess, coming out the pits in his rough.
just take a quick look at what should hopefully be a replay of the start, although it doesn't look like it's bookmarked it quite properly, so apologies for that.
Well, it's not just a practice for the development for the drivers, Bernie, AC. So it's a warm up for us as well. So these are the type of things that this is what the race is for. So yeah, we're all learning, aren't we?
Yeah, a new bit of software doesn't look like it's jumping back quite how we want it to, which is a little bit of a shame. Hopefully we'll bring you a replay of the start towards the end of the race. But yeah, lots of stuff kicked off there, so we'll check back in with that later.
Mark is look all wide. Miko's going to go around the outside. Is he doing? Mark has just made that mistake there behind Dongwu. But these three, Miko on the inside of Mark again. Yep, that's a clean pass by Miko. Miko up to second. Isn't it fantastic? BMW first, Rough second, McLaren third, Rough fourth. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think some of the guys were talking about the differences between the cars. I know the Rough is particularly strong out of the corners, the McLaren quite strong into corners, and the BMW just seems to be fairly good all round, good corner apex speed. So they definitely have their advantages, but great to see the iRacing have really balanced these out really well this season.
Yeah, well, they have, haven't they? The BMW, obviously, the flavour of the month last season. But this is the way they have taken the time to balance it out. It just adds to the attraction of this series in particular.
Yeah, it seems like these three very evenly matched, just as they were last season. Charles this year just trying to keep hold of them, but perhaps losing a little bit of ground now. Tobias Cherney, we saw that last lap put the fastest lap of the race in, so he's starting to really motor out there in his McLaren as well. So I think they carry on as they are. We could well end up back with a 5-car battle. Charles definitely closing in a little bit this lap.
Well, I've got no doubt that Dongui, as the race leader, is holding Miko up. Miko's got a good run here coming into turn 1. Dongwu very defensive, holding the tight line. Miko's going to dive deep under brakes, not going to make that position, but the speed of Dongwu is definitely bringing Charles and Tobias back into this.
Yeah, Charles fastest time around, fastest lap even that time, so definitely shows that those guys are slowly closing in. Just have a quick look at some battles a bit further back. We've got Steve Bocade here on the back of Brett Wood, I believe that is indeed, with Brett Wilson just behind him, so he's in a bit of a Brett sandwich.
Yeah, this is the interesting thing here with Bocade in the Corvette. You'd have to think that the Corvette, from my understanding, should be quicker, particularly in a straight line. So yeah, the Rough just seems to be holding its own. The BMW's right on his hammer as well.
Yeah, there's no weight penalties or anything like that trying to balance them out, so you can see here the Corvette definitely got the okay, Browns under braking, just completely loses it.
I was just about to say, I think from what I understand that the Corvette's drivability is nowhere near as easy as the GT3 car, so Yeah, they're going to have a handful in there. Yeah, once they get the lap right, once they get cartooned in nicely, yeah, they'll be up and away. But just tuning it in and getting the balance right is the challenge.
Actually, looks like Brett Wood got himself all out of shape when Bouquet lost it as well, and got himself a corner cut penalty. He's dropped down to 16th place after that. We just got on screen at the moment Alex Cherney, so up to 15th place in the BMW Z4. So he's gone a different direction to his brother. So also not sporting the Dayco livery. So I guess it comes down to the team, perhaps not presenting those GT liveries to the guys yet.
Well, it's an opportunity miss. This is going to be a great series. It's broadcast, so if you are a potential sponsor out there, get on board, because you're going to have your name shining up at night, so I've got no doubt about that. So like I said, through the sponsor PitTalkAsia.com, take the time to go along and have a look at the site. Judge for yourself. It's a very professionally run site, always updated with the news and things like that. So take the time to have a look, and you never know, you'll probably see your name up in lights.
Miko Nazi losing a little bit of ground now on Dongru Gang. Gaps out to, well, it's about a second as they cross the line. So really nothing in it. I say that as he actually just puts the fastest lap of the race in. So catches up 0.4 of a second. So while we were looking at that battle, I guess he must have lost some ground. Tobias on the back of Charles Tussier, we can see in the background. Thank you, cameraman. Just switch it over. Yeah, Tobias, I mean, he's a driver who doesn't spend an awful lot of time in these GT cars, but shows that last season, I think it was the Spa race, he was very, very conservative on the fuel. So strategically, we would expect him to make really good decisions, and that could play out. I mean, he's in a really strong place right now. He can see all the leading cars. Charles isn't really losing too much ground, so I think any one of these five still got an opportunity for this race.
Oh, I'm sure they do. So they're not going to be pitting at this stage, so it could be just a matter of sitting biding their time and waiting for the right time to strike, and hopefully can perform some kind of passing manoeuvre in the undercut. Oh, Miko wide there, he's going to lose a bit of time. And Dongru's just holding his own here, isn't he? Just driving steady, consistent laps. He's our lead. He's probably not the fastest one out there, but not making any mistakes and making the others work around him.
Yeah, Marcus closing back in. He puts the fastest lap in that time. So these guys really are just exchanging fastest lap after fastest lap now. So, and actually looks almost like Dongwu's just pulling them all around a little bit as well. So tucked up in his slipstream, saving fuel. He's doing all the hard work out there.
A bit of a shout out to Warren Pickering as well. He's 6th place. He's what is he? He's 7 seconds off the pace, but he's holding a steady pace, isn't he? 6th position, 8th on the grid in the rough. I reckon he's an Aussie fellow with a name like Pickering. I'm sure he is. Yep, he's an Aussie fellow. He's got good competition behind him in Harrison O'Brien, who we know has shown some pace in previous races, and Yun, he's holding them back. He's not blocking. He's holding his own. So it's great to have him in the series as well.
Yeah, Inho recovering well. We just see a little bit of damage on the rear spoiler of Inho's McLaren, so might just be suffering a little bit out there, but still fighting back quite strongly. Just having a quick look, it looks like Zadri's having a good battle out there as well.
He dropped a few spots early. He had incident on race 2, and had the sole GT out of Concurrent. That surprises me. He's done that.
Well, not sure what happened there. Zadri went into Paijo, and then we had I think that was it Yong as well?
Yong, yep, Chandra Yong.
Just went in a little bit hot. We know that corkscrew is so difficult. You're blind going up that hill. You know, there is a braking point up there, but it's like, oh, there's the crest, brake about now. So yeah, a few guys just getting a little bit out of shape. And hopefully when they return at the end of this season, we will the guys will be completely used to that. Oh, I think that was Miko getting into the back of
I think, yep.
Lenderman there. So Lenderman got past, and Lenderman getting into the back of that's Dongwu Gang as well. So
It's getting a bit messy, boys. All of a sudden, lap 9 action here. Miko's gone. He's out the back door now. He's got a bit of damage, has he? A little bit of damage. Be interesting to see how much he's behind here in the car too. And he's got a clear track in front of him. Let's just see if he can pull that gap back.
yeah, I think he got a slowdown penalty as well because of going in just a bit hot through the corkscrew. I know you run out wide over there, you will get a slowdown, so it cost him dearly. That Charles obviously promoted up to third, Tobias in fourth. Those guys still separated by less than a second, but the front two now definitely have a clear breakaway.
Well, this is the time
all
to
of a
pounce
sudden,
for Marcus now.
Inho, we missed it as well. He must have got Harrison and Warren all at the same time. So sorry we missed that off screen. But yeah, must have done a great move there. Gets himself up into 6th place. Both Dongwu and Lenderman just dipping the wheel in the gravel as they go through that sweeping right hander. Marcus having a look up the inside of corkscrew. Nothing going there.
Just got to show a little bit of patience here, Marcus. There's plenty of laps to go. There's still 20 laps of Laguna Seca to go. A lot of racing, and he's showing he's got the clear pace. Probably the time to pounce is now. Otherwise, with Dongwu's pace, it's certainly not pedestrian by any means. He's leading the race, but
I think that's Charles Desir into the pits as well. Yes, Charles pits really early. Stop. I wonder if he's perhaps struggling with his tyres out there. We've not really mentioned this on the broadcast yet today, but obviously there's a new tyre compound out there that all the drivers are having to deal with. So as far as we've heard from most people, it's a lot more susceptible to overheating now, so the guys will have to manage their tyres, make sure not to overheat them, otherwise they will be absolutely useless at the end of the stint. So much more degradation this time, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that, people struggling with tyres and pitting early.
has to be a scheduled stop. There wasn't anything more to it than that, just to fill up, and away he goes with the 4 new tyres. So yeah, that's the tyre degradation. That's going to show up a lot of drivers too last year who thought they could just go hell for leather the majority of the time. It's just great to have, again, just that little bit extra into the series.
Yeah, and just having a look on screen, Kevin Huang, he is sat in 8th place at the moment, not too far behind Yun Min Choi. They've got about 3.4 seconds to catch up on Warren Pickering as well, so it just looks like these two battling out, both in the McLaren MP4. Oh, Warren around, coming down from the left-hander, rejoins the circuit, just about misses. Kevin, I think it put Kevin off, and that's
Kevin
why he's wide.
Too. AC, I've got Tim Jackson. Last year's season came 4th. He's not racing tonight, but he's available to talk to us. Would you want him to have a chat with us as well? You probably know more about tyre degradation and things like that. Welcome him up here, or save him for another time?
Yeah, if he wants to have a chat, just have a quick little message to him, see if he wants to have a little chat about the tyres and stuff like that, and yeah, he can come up here and tell us a little bit more.
Done. Just got Tim Jackson with us, AC, as we just discussed. Tim, thanks to joining the coverage for the PitTalk GT Simulator Championship. Mate, welcome to the commentary box, mate. AC and I just discussing the new changes to the car. You've done a fair bit of practice in your Demidov Innovations BMW. What changes have you found most significant? Met with silence.
Yeah, sounds like he's just away at the moment. Are you there, Tim?
I'll get that sorted. I'll drop him out the channel. I'll get that sorted. Sorry about that.
Ah, no worries. Lenderman down the inside. Oh. Both drivers very late on the brake. Dongwu far too late. Lenderman gets up the inside. So a pretty good overtaking manoeuvre there from Marcus Putt. Dongwoo under extreme pressure, and he felt the need to sort of cover the inside and brake late and just overcook the tyres a little bit. That is one thing I have heard from the guys, that if you do lock up the fronts, you will just sail straight on now. So where before we could pretty much still sort of hit the apex, you really are punished now. The overheating of the tyre on the lockup just sends you straight forward. Looks like Lenneman's going to stretch his legs as well, almost straight away up to a 1 second lead.
Yeah, he's away, isn't he? Just looking at the lap times, Miko Nasi since that mistake with a 1:21.3 and actually 1:21.0, 1:21.3, 1:21.4. You'd have to think he might be working those tyres fairly hard, but he's gaining on Tobias. But yeah, Lendeman's made that move now. I reckon he'll be hard to catch from here if he keeps it all straight.
Driver on screen we haven't seen, I don't believe, in the series before. Scott Newton, welcome to the championship. Currently sitting in 11th place. He's just under a second behind Bachinda there, so just trying to eke into that top 10 spot.
Yeah, Scotty Newton, new to the series, and welcome to him. He's done a little bit of V8 supercar driving. I always say if you can drive a V8 supercar in this iRacing simulator, you can pretty much drive anything. It's just a matter of how fast you go. So it's great to have him on board representing Australia as well. We've got a few Aussies again tonight. They're going to be strong after the disappointment of last season with holding the championship lead with one race to go, and then had a disaster really. Ended up coming second in the title, so hopefully they'll be strong this year.
Just having a quick look at the live timing at the moment. It looks like most people really started to separate out now, I guess, in tyres starting to get a bit end of life. We're halfway through the race pretty much. I expect pit stops imminent. But yeah, no one out there really battling at the moment.
Looks like Lenneman's just had a problem with a lap car, but just looking at Lenneman's time, 22.1 with a 22.1 for both Lenneman and Dongwoo. Just trying to jump on board Sierra's car here just to see how he's going. 21.8 followed with his 21.6, so he wasn't that far behind when he came into the pits. If he keeps this pace up, he could get in the undercut. Just coming up to some traffic though, which is going to really hurt him.
Alex Cherney here starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Pachinda there, so needs to keep his head cool. I think very tricky to overtake around Laguna. These guys' pace are very, very evenly matched. Driver that is absolutely on the move as well. We just saw it come up on the screen a moment ago, and that was Miko Nazi. He stuck in a 1:20.8, so he's absolutely flying.
Problem. Yeah, Dongwoo's got a problem. Not sure what's happened here. He just looks like he's going a bit slower. Farney's actually putting pressure on him, so
he's got damage on the front of that car as well. Heavy damage on the front.
Oh, this is going to help with the car going off in front of him as well, but yeah, Dua's just gone off. What's he done there?
Tobias obviously dropped down behind Miko as well, so I'm not sure what's gone on there. I wonder if we can let's just skip it back.
Yeah, well, Dongwoo's just on a 33.7, Farney's all over him.
Yeah, so I'm already Miko's already Dongwoo out of the corkscrew, completely lost it into the wall heavy, spins it back around and recovers. I didn't quite see how Tobias got overtaken, but he lost 3 seconds on that lap as well, so Miko jumps himself back into second
with some strong times. Have a look what he's doing there.
Definitely starting to put the pressure on. I mean, he's 7.1 seconds. He's got a heck of a long way to try and make up on Marcus. We know how quick he is.
Yeah, he has got a heck of a long day. 14 laps to go. Let's just see how the tyres go, though. Yeah, with the tyre drop off, anything could happen at any time. And I'm pretty confident now we can get Tim Jackson available to us, so we can get him up here.
Let's try one more, Tim. You there, Jacko?
Am I here, guys?
There he is.
About time. Well, mate, welcome to the PitTalkAsia.com GT Simulator Championship commentary box, mate. AC and I, we're talking as much as we can about the exciting series that we've got in front of us and the changes to the car now. I know you've done a lot of practice in the development of innovations, BMW. What's the main changes that you can see in this series?
It's completely evened out, guys. Completely evened out. I think the roughs, they're flying at the moment, and they're the ones that we've been trying to catch, especially from a BMW perspective, but the Maccas as well. They seem to have come to life as well, and it's going to be a championship for any car.
And what's the...
Sorry about the tyre degradation. How have you found that? You find it comes in significantly? Is there a bit of a drop off, or what's the story with the tyre degradation?
Yeah, it's definitely there. I noticed at Sebring last week in the public series, got to about lap 5 or 6 and it dropped off quite heavily, and you had to actually back off for a couple of laps to try and cool those tyres down to get a bit of life back into them. So it's definitely going to be tyre preservation during the race.
So we're just looking at sort of obviously pit stop strategies. I mean, where are we expecting guys to pit in? Is it best just to split the race now down the middle and try and get, the best of the life out of them, say with a 50-50 split, or can you still go, can you do undercut, or can you still overcut? What's the mindset out there, do we think?
I think I did a bit of work during the week for obviously this race, and I think there's definitely the undercut ability there. You just got to use your traction control, have it there as a safeguard. Obviously we're into lap 17 now. You could have been looking anywhere from lap 12 onwards, and then you got a section for your middle of the race, and then probably about lap 18. They were the three areas I was really looking at, depending on how the tyres were and what sort of traffic I was going to be looking at.
Great. Well, thanks Tim for popping in.
Sorry, why are you not racing tonight?
Family commitments, mate. I've had a couple of things at home, so I spent some time with the kids.
Well, it's an unofficial race, mate. It's just a warm-up race for the series that starts next week, so you haven't missed anything in that regard. So it's great to have you up in the commentary box, mate. Thanks for your time.
No, not a problem, guys. Thanks for having me up here.
Cheers. And Mikko's made another mistake in the meantime and let Tobias back through. Mikko just in the turn 1, just deep under brakes, was putting in some strong laps, just gaining at 20.756 if you don't mind. Was really putting some lap times in there, but just that mistake there, that's it. The horses bolted there for the win now.
Yeah, exactly. Marcus's race to lose. 11 laps to go. Just needs to keep it tidy, nail his pit stop. It is a tricky pit in here, you do have to be careful there. That tight left-hander final corner is even worse when you're trying to pit, so trying to eke out some time. That's Mikko, he's got some traffic getting all out of shape. Has to go very, very cautious. Oh, what's going on?
I found it interesting that Jackson was saying that his tyres are going up to 4 or 5 laps. That's remarkably different to any other season we've had, so it just adds another element, doesn't it? And I reckon that favours drivers. So funny, I reckon that favours drivers like you and him, the car 30. Oh, he's had a car go off in front of him. He's a smart driver. He just does the job, doesn't he? Him and Dongwu gang. Obviously, Dongwu's had a bit of issue tonight, but that's the type of thing that I think would thrive on, is a tyre saving and just the planning.
Yeah, Inho actually he's closed quite up with Mikko, with all of Mikko's problems, so great recovery drive. Dongwu decided to jump in the pits there following that damage that he got. He's only sat, according to the timing, let's wait for it to update, there we go, 48 seconds behind, so he's still in a shout for a good top 5 finish here. but he is behind Charles Desir now, so 6 seconds behind him. It's going to be interesting to see where the likes of Tobias come out in relevance to Charles. He's obviously had a fair bit of traffic that he's had to deal with while pitting early, so I don't know if it's probably been the optimal strategy.
Well, race leader Lenderman's just in the pits.
Let's keep an eye where Lenderman's going to come out. That should give us an idea. Obviously, we know Charles was right on these guys when they pitted, about 2 seconds behind, so as guys just exchange positions in the pit lane there. Miko carries on through. Tobias into the pits as well.
Now, I can't see the McLaren being hoisted up in his jack, so does he take tyres on? One would have to think that no, he hasn't. Now, that's significant because the Rough and the BMW both seem that they needed to.
Just have a look as well with Inho. No, Inho doesn't take any tyres either, or Tobias, so
Quick stop by Tobias.
The McLaren's looking very, very racy. Right, where is Charles? Charles has gone by though. Yep, he's round turn 1 now, just coming out of that corner. We've got a back marker spinning again. I'm not sure who that is, but he's having an awful time of it out there. Might be time to park it up.
Yeah, but you're right. But it is essentially just a warm-up race, so the best way to learn is to get some laps in there, whether it be in a practice situation, probably yes, or instead of a race situation. Is that Brett Wills? It's just had another little half spin in the last corner there as well. So yeah, there are some cars that are going off, but it's a great opportunity to get some laps in practice.
The Lindeman's just going through the corkscrew now. Let's have a look where Charles is. Charles just going through the corkscrew as well. So I think he did lose a little bit of time, did Charles, but not a great deal when you consider the pace that the front runners have had, and he's had to deal with traffic. So perhaps a bit of a cunning strategy for Marcus. Maybe he thought that he was being held up. Sorry, not Marcus, Charles. And he would get in early and take the hit with some of the slower guys that he might feed in, hoping that he would end up being better. Miko into the pits as well. He's just exited now. Here comes Charles, so he's jumped back ahead of him as well. So actually, you have to say, Charles...
that's not good. Sorry, Scotty Goodman is just in front of the last corner, just coming straight out in front of Stephen Bouquet. Sorry.
I just having a look at that on screen now. Yeah, so Miko, is he behind? Is he in front? No, Charles is definitely in front, only just. We know that Miko's had his problems, so Tobias is there, so yeah, definitely a net gain for Charles, I have to say, so good strategy call.
Yeah, but let's see if his tyres can last throughout. Like, that to me is interesting. We have to ask during the after-race interviews, do the McLarens need to take tyres? There's no doubt that the Roughs have, and there's no doubt that the BMWs have, but if the McLarens don't have to take tyres, that's a massive advantage for the season.
Just watching Alex Cherney starting to put the pressure on Warren Pickering for this 8th place. Currently just under a second behind and closing. I have to say, I think Pickering's pitted, and I'm not sure Cherney has. Lenderman puts the fastest lap in of the race. So fresh rubber, clean air, he's flying.
I'm loving the sound of the new Corvette. So you just jump on Mark Lang's car in the cockpit here, or the roll bar, and just listen to this thing purr. It sounds awesome.
Oh, that's suspension. We'll get that right. I have to say, that's one car I think they've nailed the sound. It stands out from all the rest. There's a lot of cars seem to have sort of picked up on that V8 sound that they launched a while back. Definitely want to see some individuality of the sounds of the cars in the software, and this is certainly one that does stand out. That's beautiful. Even from outside the car, it sounds great too.
Yeah, it's a fantastic sounding car. It's just great to see Mark making that change, isn't it? We used to run the Red Bull Ford GT for a series. And, yeah, let's face it, the GT's not competitive at the moment compared to other cars, but like I said before, he's getting a bit hungry. He wants to get up the front, and this is his car of choice for the season, I hope. So, yeah, that's a good lap on board his car with that sound, and I'm looking forward to plenty more of that for the year.
Miko starting to put the pressure on Charles now. Obviously got that fresh rubber underneath him, so Charles is going to struggle to hold on to this position, I think.
Yeah, Miko all over, and just having a look where Charles pitted was about lap 8, was it? Lap 10, sorry. Lap 10 for Charles, so 6 laps to go, so his tyres will be screaming for a bit of a break. They come up to some lap traffic, but the two roughs, second and third, Miko made a few mistakes tonight. You can't see him making too many of those over the series, so he's still could get his nose up to second after those mistakes, which is very promising for him.
I think Tobias has made a little mistake out there as well. He's dropped back some 6 seconds on this battle, so maybe that's just the difference in not taking the tyre. You know, these guys are actually flying, so it's faster to do so rather than to not.
Yeah, the one that surprised me a bit was Dongmu Gang. Like, he's had the car repair lap 15, I think he pitted. So no, he actually held out to lap 19, which surprises me because he had some damage. But even with the new tyres, not really picking up the leads like I thought he would get closer to him. He's got his old sparring partner, Ewan, behind him in 6th, so 5th and 6th are Dongmu, and that's good to see them next to each other again, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Great championship, that first one between those two, so I'm sure they'll enjoy racing each other really hard again.
Yeah, that Warren Pickering, he still just putts around. He's down to 8th from his 7th place down, but 8th was where he started with a 21.103 in qualifying. His fastest lap of the race at 1:21.6, so he's actually done a faster lap than, he's half a second off his qualifying time, but he's shown some good consistency out there, and that's what gets you some points at the end of the season.
I'm guessing we must have missed Alex Cherney's pit stop. It's still showing that he hasn't stopped on my screen. I don't know if you can have a look through his lap time, see if you can see a pit stop.
Yeah, lap 20 I reckon he would have come in. His times are consistent with a 1:58.4 followed by a 1:48, so his times are consistent with the pit stops around lap 20, which he's held on pretty long there, knowing that as we do thanks to Tim Jackson, the BMW's tyres go off, so his times are lagging compared to others, but he's had a pretty rough day so far.
Just having a quick look down the live time in the main battle on track at the moment is what we are watching on screen. Charles Teixeira trying to hold on to this second place from Miko Nazi.
Just 3.5 laps to go, I think it is, so yeah, you'd have to think Charles's tyres will be screaming for a change, but he's showing some good times here.
Bit of traffic.
11 seconds back on Marcus is really doing a cakewalk at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic there going into the corkscrew. He'll want that out of the way as quickly as possible. Still having to wait behind.
Miko, another mistake. Just wonder also whether the draft this season plays a part. Whether you can't get quite as close in the draft behind a car in the turn, whether you just lose that downforce. Miko's just making an unusual amount of mistakes, so he's probably just testing his limits for when they do the official race here. I think it's the last race of the season, so testing the limits. Probably learn more tonight by making mistakes. And if that's the case, well, Miko will be a very smart man by the end of the race.
I'm not sure what's gone on here, but I seem to have lost. Inho, so he's dropping down the order really quickly. Yeah, he's not on track at the moment.
No, he's not on track. I'll have to have a look to see where
You can confirm what happened there.
Yeah, just bear with us.
Just got Tobias Cherney on screen at the moment, sitting there in P4, fairly comfortable. He's about 7 seconds behind Miko and 4 seconds in front of Dongwoo, so it looks pretty set for that 4th position.
I think you're going to get a message shortly saying that Ino has been disconnected. I think he just dropped out, to be honest with you.
Lenderman's still pushing out there, he doesn't need to, but he's just put the fastest lap of the race in at 1:20.354.
Brett Wood's another mistake. Yeah, Marcus is he's doing a good job. There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose here.
Oh! Charles and Miko into each other going into turn 1. I'm not really sure about that one, if I'm honest.
Messi.
Take a quick look at that back on replay. Let's slow it down as well.
I'm not sure, did they actually touch there? I'm not sure they touched. Oh, yes they did. Yes, they did. Mika, oh, gee whiz.
It's a difficult one to call, I have to say.
Yeah, like... Charles didn't look like he was going to turn into the corner, did he? And Miko looked like he was turning into the right line, and Charles just seemed to hold him out. And then, in his desperation to get moving, and Charles has just made that mistake. But, you're a Formula 1 man, AC, how would you call that?
I mean, sorry, we're just watching the aftermath. You can see Charles has got massive damage. He'll be absolutely gutted with that. 2 laps to go. He just needs to try and bring it home, but he's going to just keep dropping down the list. I mean, as far as the incident goes, I just don't really know how to call that one. It looks perhaps as if... oh, sorry about this, as the green just freezes on us. Yeah, it looked as if Charles perhaps outbraked himself just a little bit while Miko was going for a move perhaps round the outside, and there was just inevitable contact there. I'd definitely call that a racing incident. I can't see that anyone's to blame there. It's just really unfortunate. Without the lockup, I think Charles would have held onto the position, but
Charles in the pit, so his damage is going to be fairly critical.
so what that's done...
Does,
Sorry, go on, I think you were about to say the same thing.
No, I think you're probably right. Miko's now at second, Tobias third, Dongwoo in 4th. Everybody moves up a position except for Lenderman here. But Warren Pickering, he's surprising me. He's 6th place now, showing strong pace as well. But yeah, it's back to the old firm from last season. Lenderman first, Narcy second. It's just a matter of who wins on the day.
Yeah, and actually, we might have a battle for this last lap. I'm not sure, between Tobias and Dongwoo Gang. Dongwoo's closing in very, very quickly. Second a lap the last time. Let's see what they're like as they cross the line. Tobias 22.4. I was only 2/10 that time, so I think at that pace Tobias should hold on to this final podium position.
Dare say he controls his pace very well, Tobias. We know that from other races. So yeah, it's a martini battle for 3rd and 4th here. One in the McLaren, one in the BMW, and there's another martini rough, I believe I saw as well. So Martini have got the field covered here with their sponsorship, or their livery, should I say.
Great looking cars. Marcus then coming out of that sweeping downhill, left-hander through the right-hander into this final corner. Very tricky, very deceiving. Get on the brakes early. Yeah, that car turned in, out of the corner for the final time. Takes the introductory race to the PitTalkAsia.com GT Simulator Championship here at Laguna Seca. Congratulations to him. Miko Nazi, some 20 seconds behind. Been in the wars, I have to say. Most of it self-inflicted, but I think he might have run out of fuel. It does look as if he's limping.
Yeah, he's certainly coming to a halt, isn't he? But
Holds-
a great result.
Holds on
Sorry.
to that. Yeah, Tobias Cherney in third as well. He held on to that. Dongwigan got close, but not close enough.
I'm thinking Miko just wants to get out of that car, but congratulations, Marcus Lehman. Mad Cow Racing, McLaren winning our introduction race here at Laguna Seca. Fantastic effort by him, really. Started on pole, dominated practice, dominated qualifying, dominated the race, 27 seconds. It's not going to be that close next week. This will be the biggest blowout of the season, no doubt. Tobias Cherney, third place, 29 seconds back. Made a bit of a run at Nico at the end there with Nico's problems. Dongwu fourth, Kevin Huang in fifth. Warren Pickering, fantastic debut drive for him, albeit a minute back, but in sixth. Alex Cherney, Harrison O'Brien, didn't see much of him in the BHP Billiton BMW. Brett Wilson and Peugeot round up the top 10. Just one of interest here, the GT of Kunkuro in 14th is a great effort by him. Just behind the first Chev there, Stephen Bouquet in 13th.
Yeah, so you have to say once they get that upgrade to that GT, I think that's going to be quite competitive.
Yeah, it will be. I'm just going to try and see whether Kunkuro needed a pit stop. One, I would think no for fuel. That's got to be the only thing I can see an advantage of him having. Yeah, no pit stop at all, just straight through.
Right, what we're going to do, just going to nip off for a quick advert break. Going to introduce the BSRTC Championship. If you don't know what that is, tune in on Thursday nights. We do those broadcasts for those guys. So some British touring car action using the Kia Optima. So fantastic series. So, but yeah, we'll just we'll quickly be back after that. Hopefully, we'll get a few guys pop in for an interview for our post-race show. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV. Alex Simpson, Brenton O'Brien for the post-race show here at Laguna Seca, the PitTalkAsias.com GT Simulator Championship. I have to say, introductory race, pretty much what we expected, Brenton. Thought we might have lost Brenton just for a moment. Hopefully we'll get him back shortly. But yeah, just to run through. Oh no, he's back. Yeah, sorry mate. I was just saying, pretty much what we expected from this opening sort of introductory race. It looks like we're set for a good season.
Yeah, we are in for a good season. Just I was just away, just having a bit of a type-a-thon with someone. The amount of cars who did take tyres and didn't take tyres. Tobias Cherney looks like didn't take tyres in the BMW, and Lenderman saying he did take tyres in the McLaren. So that's the opposite of what we were thinking. But yeah, strong race by Lenderman. It's more of a confidence thing for him tonight, but I think a few of the drivers will be happy that this race is over and get on with the series next week.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a few guys coming in to join us for a quick chat, just as we have the final results ticking away on screen at the moment. Right, who should we have a quick word with first? Actually, I'm going to have a word with...
Just Charles.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's bring Charles up here because, well, Charles, just unlucky, mate, first off. Great race, good strategy call. Get yourself up into second place there. What's your view on the incident? I think we called it as a bit of a racing incident, unfortunately, in the end. But yeah, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, man. Hey, firstly, good to be back. It was a really good race, actually. The incident, it was. I kind of tried to defend in the braking zone a little bit, just to push him a little bit wide, but I guess he just turned in. So yeah, that's racing, isn't it? I had a very good strategy for the race. I think, I decided because I wasn't gonna get past either of them on the track, so decided to do the undercut, which worked quite well. And then I could have held Miko back actually. I was confident of holding him back. It's a pity that that incident happened, but it was a pretty interesting race.
So you took on tyres lap 9 there, did you, Charles? Is that the plan?
I think it was lap 11 I did it, didn't I? 11 or something.
Okay, no, my race time here says that I'm thinking you must have come in on lap 9. You lap 10 laps quite slow, so yeah, lap 9 or 10, but is that your plan? You took tyres on?
Yeah, I figured because the new tire model, after about 6-7 laps, the tires are basically useless. So, the amount that you gain, on the track if you pit, it's only a couple of seconds more, but you gain at least half a second every lap. So it more than makes up for it, and it showed that I could hold Miko back, but yeah, he was on much fresher tires, 10 lap fresher tires than I was. I don't know when he pitted, but yeah, I overtook him when he was in the pits. So yeah, he had newer tires, and I managed to keep my tires fresh for longer. So yeah, I think this season's going to be interesting with the tires coming into play.
So after your 20 laps on your second season, how were your tyres then? Were they a bit... I know you didn't get a chance to finish the last two, so for the last 18 laps, were your tyres a bit mushy, or what was the story?
There was a lot. It started to push understeer maybe about 9-10 laps in. I was trying to avoid turning in too abruptly, and try to manage it. Try to make the tires last, which worked. And then it wasn't so abrupt, the cliff, so it just went away bit by bit, and then when it hit lap 9, the tires started to just go off. But yeah, I managed to keep it going for a while. But yeah.
And just your expectations for the season, mate? Third last season, I believe it was. So, what's your expectations for the rest of the year?
Well, hopefully same or better. Oh, obviously better, but if I finish third to Marcus and Miko, I'm not too unhappy about that. Last season was pretty good, so hopefully I can carry on the form through this season.
Very good. Are you still there, AC?
Yep, congratulations on the end of last season. I really want to see you up there fighting. I know I didn't catch the last round, so just wanted to say, well done on that last season. Obviously today's just an introductory race, so doesn't affect the championship points, which is, I suppose, a good thing for yourself. So we're back here at Laguna at the end of the season, I believe. So yes, what's the... You're obviously saying you want to finish behind those, but I think this race is showing that the fight up the front is going to be very close. Is there no opportunity to perhaps to pip those guys?
Well, I don't like to lose, so hopefully. Well, actually, we're pretty happy that the cars are pretty balanced this season. After iRacing did a few changes, so if I could pull a bit of tricks in the strategy and hopefully my advantage is that I can keep tires going for a longer distance, then maybe I can catch those two or even, beat them in the final standings. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm gonna give all my effort for the season.
And in regards to sort of the Nations trophy as well, how's the team set up like this season? You guys confident?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty confident this season because we've done a lot of testing, the past 2 weeks. But another thing is that Marcus and I, we've all been running different cars, so it's quite difficult to compare strategies and help one another. Last season we could communicate while driving, and we're driving identical cars, so you can compare strategies and help each other. But this season's a bit strange because everyone's on different cars, so yeah, it's every man for himself. Hopefully I can help Singapore to get the title again before I move out of here.
Right, well, good luck for the main championship. Just before I let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, Marcus does, I think there's nothing more to be said about that because, Mark does a very good job, and yeah, congrats to him for hosting such an amazing championship and giving people opportunities to do this. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, mate. We'll see you. Well, I won't actually see you next week. It'll be hopefully one of my colleagues in the box. But yeah, good luck on that one.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Good on you, Charles.
Thank you.
Right, who have we got now? Let's.
We could kill two birds with one stone here and get the Cherney brothers up here at once. See what they go like.
Yeah, let's drag them both up just in
Let's
case
get
they want to insult each other or something like that. Have a fight, brotherly spat on air.
Well, after what Tobias said about Alex, I wouldn't be surprised. Or was it Alex saying it about Tobias? I can't remember.
Welcome, fellas. First question is, where's the team skins? We didn't see them.
Yeah, hello guys. I had no team skin because I don't have any team skin for the McLaren. I just thought that since this is some, I don't know, introduction race, I thought I'd try something new, and I couldn't design a skin, so I took a nice one from the showroom.
Yeah, it looked quite nice, the Martini one, I have to say.
Is that going to be a car of choice for the season, do you think, Tobias, running with the McLaren, or is it you plan to possibly swap round by round if you're allowed to, like some weeks the BMW, some weeks the rough, perhaps? What's the plan there?
Yeah, actually, I like the backfire of the McLaren, and I haven't taken the other two more cars for a run after the tire changes. It was just the McLaren. I did a few laps 2 days ago. And I found a quite nice stable setup, so that's the only reason why I took the McLaren. Don't know how the BMW was driving, so there Alex can say more about this. We will see what car I will take in future.
And yeah, so Alex, that question over to you. How was the BMW out there today?
Yeah, as I mentioned before in the RL race, I was not sure about the setups because every setup I tried was very hard to drive in the first laps. So I decided to use the base setup. Just did some minor changes in fuel pressures, and yeah, that's it. So from my point of view, it was good driving, even in the end, after 30 laps without tire change. Yeah, my laps were only 0.6 of a second slower than my fastest lap in this race, so it was okay.
It's interesting actually that some drivers took tyres and some didn't. So was that something that you planned to do from the start of the race?
First of all, I planned to change tires, but I was waiting for the information of my brother when he was in the box, that how his tires look like, and but then, yeah, after a look at the times, I decided to not change the tires.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about your setup there, sorry boys, the Cherney brothers. You still live in the same house together? Do you race next to each other in the same room? Or what's the setup there?
Now, at the moment, it's we are divided by a few 100 kilometers. So we're both doing our master's thesis, but not at the same location. That's why. But I wanted to add about the tires and fuel stuff in the race. Yeah, I was not sure as well. I heard Marcus wrote that he changed his tires. Obviously,
yep, he did.
He did a bit also. He did a bit more practice with the tire wear, I guess. Still surprised how he had that quick pit stop then. I think I was in the box for, let's say, 10 seconds or so. I played with the fuel game again. I was saving fuel somewhere mid-race when I recognized maybe 25 liters of fuel would bring me home. And when I'm not taking any tires, of course, I will take the lowest amount of fuel as possible. And in the end, yeah, I think the car had started misfiring going over the line. Yeah, so it was pretty close. I really was quite a bit afraid of Dongwoo Gang there chasing me down in the last couple of laps. There was a bit of traffic ahead and so on, and I really had no idea how hard I could push with these tires that are being then not changed and 29, 30 laps old. So I tried to take it as easy as possible, but was not so easy as I thought. So great racing there from Dongwoo, and I was pretty lucky to gain so many spots, but I don't even recognize gaining spots. Yeah, there were cars falling off left, right, and so
You gained only 3 spots.
yeah, but I passed more.
How about 14?
I took made more than 3. Basically, let me check. Remember, I guess I made maybe one real overtake. The other were all cars that dropped off.
If I had to guess, I would say maybe 5 cars overtaken, but not 14. I don't know where and how.
Yeah, I mean, you had a strong race actually, Alex. I mean, I constantly saw you just slowly moving up through the order throughout that race. But yeah, like I say, a lot of mistakes out there today. So
Yeah, I had a nice wiggle, I think about lap 21, last corner, braking a little bit on the curb and the sand, and was a drift about 50 meters. But I think this was the moment when someone, maybe the roof in front of me, gained his position back.
yeah, just actually catching you on screen at the moment, just looking at the replay as well. So good to know the network connections are no better in this series as well. With you're jumping all over the place on the screen. So yeah, something I guess you guys have to pay particular attention to.
Yes, I was driving behind someone else, who was also very sliding over the track from left to right, and so I kept a little bit distance and watched and we're waiting for my chance to take by.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if it's a good decision to race on Australian servers. I mean,
nothing about Australians.
So for us, it was definitely better last season. Where I don't know if we were on European servers. I guess we were on American ones. I might be wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's American. Yeah.
So there I had a ping of 150 or so, and that was quite fine, and never saw that much lagging and cars swapping around than here with lots of the Asian guys also having pings between 200 and 300 then.
Yeah, I think it's something to keep an eye on. I know obviously the series does have people connect to it from all over the place. So yeah, I'm sure Mark will. Obviously, this was the introductory race. So couple of little changes that might need to come off. I think also is it not brought up some issues with the classes as well?
Yeah, I think it was now a 5-class multi-class race. So during the race, watching the relative screen, you had no idea where you are, just except the position in your class. So it was interesting. That's why you could never really estimate where you are, which place is the guy ahead, and when you pass someone, it was really confusing.
Right, well, thanks very much for joining us, lads. Before we let you go, just want to say best of luck for the rest of the season. Hope you guys feature really strongly. Anyone you want to give a shout out to this time round?
This time now, it's difficult. Nevertheless, I will give a shout out to my teammates and my team Power One Deco, even though I was not using our team skin, not our team skin, because we don't have one for the McLaren, as far as I know.
And I have no for the Z4, so sorry.
Anyway, big shout out to all the drivers. It was, as far as I could see, fair racing, and also the backmarkers. If there were a few, made a good job. Didn't stand in the way and so on. So good racing here.
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
And thanks for broadcasting the series as well.
Of course.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
Cheers, boys.
We'll, well, I think Brenton, you'll be around next week, won't you? But I know I'm not around for this one, so yeah, I'll see you for the race after that.
Okay, see you then. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Bye bye.
Cheers, boys. What do you reckon we call it?
Right, well, I think, that's just about going to wrap up the show for us today. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to the start of this championship. Gutted I won't be here next week. I'll be at Spa for the World Championship series, so that's going to be interesting. Yes, I'll have to have a chat with the lads. It'll probably be Liam that will do it. I hope we won't have to do it post-race, but we will keep an eye out on that. So have a word with the guys. But Brenton, a pleasure as always. I think we're going to be in for a treat this season, mate.
Yeah, we are. Just the different variations with the cars, the drivers, and now with the tyres as well. There's just that X factor now, isn't there? So, mate, thank you so much for the tonight, mate, and good luck with your race in the F1s next week at Spa.
Yep, thanks everybody for tuning in. I've been Alex Simpson, been joined by Brenton. This has been the introductory race of the PitTalkAsia.com GT Simulator Championship from Laguna Seca. Join us next week for round 1 of this series and hopefully some interesting announcements about it as well. Again, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you then.